Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. Let's start with today's stories. Am I the idiot for not telling my husband I went into labor? I, 32, female, have 3 kids, K, 12, female, L, 4, male, and I just gave birth to my beautiful baby girl Valerie. My husband and I have been married 5 years and I love him, but he's a little bit of a mama's boy. My mother-in-law hates me. I grew up in a richer neighborhood and my parents left me with quite a lot of inheritance money when they passed, about 13 million in assets. Mother-in-law, however, was a single mother with 2 sons and had a lot of trouble just paying for basic needs. She worked her way up and I think she is very strong. She doesn't like me and thinks I'm pretentious, because apparently I had everything handed to me. Well, when I got pregnant with Elle, we decided to name him Luke, after my husband's father who died when my husband was only 3. Mother-in-law was through the roof when we told her, but ever since I fell pregnant again with Valerie, she has been adamant that we would name her Francine after her late grandmother. My husband wants to as well, but I don't. Instead, I wanted to name her Valerie, and not just because I like the name but also because when I was 17 the song Valerie by Amy Winehouse came out and me and my family would sing it all the time. At family gatherings it was always first on the speaker, car rides, and just in general it was basically our song. Well, my older sister and my parents passed away in a house fire 3 years ago, and I miss them terribly. We were all a very close family, so it hit my and my younger sister, 27, very hard. When I suggested this to my husband and mother-in-law, they actually got mad at me, because they wanted it to be Francine. I suggested we name it Valerie with the middle name Francine or Francine with the middle name Valerie, but they weren't happy with either. During my last month of pregnancy my husband has become more angry at me. I finally snapped and said that I wasn't going to name my child an ugly name that I don't like for the sake of a woman that doesn't even like me. He said that I was being unbelievable and that I had insulted his strong independent mother. I immediately apologized, but he left to his mother's house. 2 days later I couldn't reach him at all and on the 3rd day I went into labor. Kay kept saying she would text my husband and I told her not to bother. After hours of labor and awful pain, I gave birth to my baby girl and named her Valerie, with Diane as the middle name. Diane was my mother's name. About 2 hours after I gave birth, my younger sister was able to reach mother-in-law to get the message to my husband. When they came in my husband was raging and yelling at me, calling me a pretentious backstabbing witch, and mother-in-law was more upset about the name. I think this might be the end of my marriage, but we can still change her name if we really wanted to. So am I the idiot? Should I change the name? Okay, I need a minute to catch a breath. Where do I start? I usually don't say this at first, because there's usually 2 sides to the story. But, divorce, divorce, divorce. Who the hell comes into a maternity ward screaming and cursing his own wife? And because of a name? A name? What the F? Your husband is insane, your mother-in-law is insane, leave him and take your children away from this insanity. I normally try to understand both sides of the situation. Normally I would say something like, it is not worth it naming the child with a name that both parents do not agree with, that they can find another name that both like, that naming the baby with a chose that your husband is so against it, can appear as a form of lack of respect for him as a father. But after his actions, F him. And his mother. Mother-in-law has no right to meddle and choose the names of your children. They are your children. Dump her mama's boy and let her ruin him, and you go take care of your children. Leave this crazy family. Now let's read what people said about this messed up situation. One thing I've learned about mama's boys is that they will never, ever, ever choose you over their mom. Get out of this situation. It's better to be on your own than with someone like him. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. You chose Valerie in honor of your tragically killed parents and sister. How in holy hell does he think that is less important than commemorating his great-grandmother, whom he probably never knew? You're financially independent, so this should indeed be the end of your marriage. You don't want your children growing up thinking it's okay to be treated the way you're being treated. I'm afraid you're right, it's never going to change. This is a mess. The name aside, a partner who makes themselves unavailable at the end of the pregnancy is not a partner. I have given birth twice and during my first birth I was alone, and I could never forgive this, ever. OP, I would feel betrayed because he knowingly left you in the time when you're most vulnerable, knowing that you're about to give birth, just to spite you. There would be no coming back from this. And yeah, if that happened to me, all names we had previously agreed upon would most likely go out of the window at that moment because I would be planning to divorce him anyways. And what would you guys do if you were OP? Do you know anyone like OP's husband? Or OP's mother-in-law? Leave your comments down below. Now let's go to the next story. Are you enjoying the videos so far? Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's go to the last story. Am I the idiot for uninviting my soon-to-be mother-in-law from my wedding? I, female, 27, am engaged to my fiancé, male, 45, and we plan to get married in July. I have 2 kids with my late husband. My soon-to-be mother-in-law, who I will refer to as MIL, does not know this full context, as I am a private person and am not overly close with her. He passed when I was 23, and I really only discuss his passing once I am incredibly close with someone. I have only spoken to MIL at a handful of holidays, and never had a conversation that extended far beyond the basics. Now to get into this, we recently hosted our first Thanksgiving. I felt very accomplished and was excited to share this moment with my soon-to-be family. The only issue being that I had totally forgotten the mashed potatoes, which seemed to have MIL in a very pissy mood. Thankfully, fiancé's sister offered to go to the store to buy some instant mashed potatoes, to which I was very grateful. She asked me to check in on her youngest daughter, who was in an upstairs bedroom with my kids, and had been very quiet recently. Moms of Reddit know this is never a good thing. I, of course, agree. I go to check on them and find them fully engrossed in Encanto. Left sitting at the table downstairs were my soon-to-be mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, fiancé, and most importantly, sister-in-law's oldest daughter, female, 15. As I make my way downstairs, I do note the silence at the table but don't think much of it. After the dinner, however, while everyone is leaving, sister-in-law's oldest daughter pulls me aside and asks to speak to me. I ask her if everything is okay, and she explains that while I was gone, MIL made a comment, something to the note of how she didn't get why fiancé would get with someone who is already used up, and that running around with someone like that would ruin his reputation among men. Along with another comment that she said she wasn't comfortable repeating, she said she wouldn't have felt right if she hadn't told me. I thanked her profusely, honestly completely in shock at what I had just heard. MIL had already left at this point. I am a very confrontational person, because I believe it gets drama over with. I called her and asked her if it was true and she got really quiet before admitting that it was. She said, something along the lines of, "I'm glad you know how everyone feels now, I was getting tired of hiding it." When I started to cry she replied, and this is a direct quote, "You act like a floozy, you get treated like one." In a moment of anger I uninvited her from my wedding. My fiancé is very upset and is threatening to leave if I don't fix this all now. He and our friends are all calling me the a-hole, and many have been ostracizing me. I am open to criticism, but I really don't think I did anything wrong. So, am I the idiot for uninviting my soon-to-be mother-in-law from my wedding? Unless the reason your fiancé is upset is because he was the one who wanted to disinvite her himself, he's the idiot, not you. Him, his mother, his family and everyone who agrees with them. I'm sorry OP, but unfortunately it was better to know how these people feel about you now than before the wedding. At least you still have a chance to run. And if these so-called friends actually know the whole story and not just the fake version that fiancé and her future mother-in-law told them, it's a blessing that you are ostracized by them. All of these people are a-holes OP, except for the niece who told you the truth, and if you cut these people out of your life, you will be gaining much more than what you are losing. You're not the idiot for uninviting someone who thinks so low of you and who disrespects you from your wedding, even if it's the mother of the groom. But the big question now is, after all this, will there still be a wedding, OP? Now you know how the rest of your life will probably be like with these people. Are you sure you want this? Anyway, good luck OP. Your mother-in-law called you a floozy on Thanksgiving and your fiancé wants you to apologize? You have a fiancé problem. This relationship is already over. Figure out how to protect yourself and get out. Not the idiot. This would bother me because fiancé reaction is a red flag. Will he ever have your back? Dear OP, please uninvite the fiancé too. Yeah, this isn't a situation where you ponder if maybe it's not worth it after all. This is a situation where you pack your shit and run. Not the idiot. I'm sorry you're having to go through this. You deserve better. He's 45 and she's 27, of course she's got a fiancé problem. Calling any woman a floozy is a penultimate insult because everyone knows how much women are already ill-treated in the name of preserving our character and honor. Knowing your circumstances, your fiancé should have gone scorched earth on his mother. In any relationship, respect for our partner is sacrosanct. If he can't do that, what is the point in moving forward? Not the idiot. OP, dump him already. He will always be mother-in-law's son first and foremost. Husband, friend, protector will be a distant second. Is mother-in-law the woman you want to spend holidays with for the rest of your life? Do you want to play second fiddle to a hateful beef for the next 20 years? Even a 15-year-old girl gets it that mother-in-law is toxic. The 15-year-old had your back more than your own fiancé. OP, not the idiot. I would have disinvited mother-in-law from my entire life. You may want to rethink your finances too. Unfortunately, he is spineless or worse, agrees. And what do you guys think about this situation? What would you do if you were OP? Please leave your comments down below. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time.